Okay. Hey, Mike, welcome to the Strong Shall Stand podcast. It's good to have
Thanks
you
for
on.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I know we really have discussed you coming on since last summer. And there was talks you were going out of the country, and then once you got back, and then life started happening, and we just never got to it. But here it is, a new year. You're the first one of the year. So I'm glad that we could get this time together to get this knocked out and get your message out there. So
awesome.
All right, perfect. So what I like to do though is when I start off these podcasts, I will give a brief introduction of who you are, and then we'll dive right into your story of where you were born, how you grew up, different things like that, and then whichever rabbit hole we go down that way. And if we stay there for the duration, we'll just pick it up again another night.
Sounds great.
All right, man. Okay. So Mike Brown, you are, to start with, a Christian. You're a husband and a father. You enlisted in the Air Force in 1989. You spent 21 years and retired as a master sergeant. You worked across multiple DoD agencies during that time. You were a superintendent at the Airman Family Readiness Center. You've traveled to Uganda multiple times for mission trips. Recently, the one we were just talking about over the past summer. Yep. You're an avid hunter and fisher, and new to me, a podcaster with the podcast Money Mike Minute. So, is there anything that I've missed out of there? Because I almost missed that one.
No, I believe that's a good introduction. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so another thing I like to do is just throw out some random questions.
Okay.
I love eating at restaurants, love eating food. I think we all do. If there was one restaurant that they could keep, if the world went to hell in a handbasket, and only one restaurant they could have, and it was your choice, which one would that be?
Spicy Mexico in Bowie, Texas.
Spicy Mexico in Bowie. Is that where did we eat there?
I believe we did. Yes. Okay. That is where we ate at. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So good, it's a Tex-Mex. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That was a long day. It was dinner, which was supposed to be lunch. That long story, but worst drive across country we've had to date. So perfect. So what was the name of it again?
Spicy Mexico.
In Bowie, Texas.
Bowie, Texas. Bowie's known as the largest Bowie knife in the world after Jim Bowie.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
A little history lesson along with Texas the food
history.
Lesson.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Okay. What's the biggest fish? Doesn't matter the species, bass, catfish. What's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
On trot line, probably about 25, 30 pounds. It would have been a catfish. On rod and reel, it'd be a bass, about 8.5 pounds.
Nice. They put up big fights. The bass. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you do a lot of freshwater. Have you ever done saltwater?
I have done some saltwater fishing. I prefer freshwater. That's I grew up born in East Texas, went to high school and everything, graduated in Tennessee, so it was all freshwater. So that's what I primarily enjoy doing. But I've been on several saltwater fishing trips as well. So.
Yeah. Just, I think it was last winter, an opportunity to go out with a friend, do some fishing out here. And when I showed up, he's like, "Hey, it's not the fishing that you're probably used to, just tossing the line out, reel it in, toss it out." He's like, you're basically just going to troll the whole way. You just walked back and forth the entire night. And I'm like, this ain't fishing. Like, this is a workout. Like, I'm out here just to sit. Yeah, I'm out here to just toss a line and reel it in. But we didn't catch anything, just froze our butts off. But he's generally like that guy. You look at the tide and be like, "Yeah, we'll go over here tonight," and he'll bag out that night, and So now
Well,
the biggest. Go ahead.
I will tell you. About 2 years ago, I was fishing with my son-in-law, and at the time they lived in Port Aransas down on the coast,
Mhm.
and we went out fishing on a boat. Now I hung something; it would have been way bigger than the 25 pounds. It was taking reel,
Oh wow.
and this is a big, the big gigantic saltwater rigs. I
Yeah.
mean, the posts are about 5 foot long, and they're like this, like a broomstick. I mean, and it had that thing bent double. We could see it jumping out,
Yeah.
and it was just taking. It was taking all the line off the reel. Just I was trying to reel, and it just wasn't having any of it, and it ended up breaking off. But I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but I big.
Yeah. Yeah. I could imagine. So that'd be a fun trip to go out on a boat, saltwater, and
Yeah,
do some fishing. They catch some monsters out there.
yeah,
That would
yeah,
be pretty cool. Just to hang it right next to you, see how big it
yeah,
is. Definitely. But
yeah.
hunting is the last question. The best. Well, what would be your favorite hunt that you've ever done?
Well, I love deer hunting,
Mhm.
but I did lots and lots of coon hunting growing up. In fact, something you probably didn't know is I was actually in the World Youth Hunt probably when I was 14 or 15 years old, maybe 16. I don't even remember what year.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed coon hunting a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
But now I just enjoy being out. I don't even care if I shoot anything. I just enjoy being outdoors.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. Um, that's that's uh, that's my favorite. Just watching the deer or whatever, coyotes,
Yeah.
sometimes hogs, which I will shoot if hogs come around. But I
For
just
sure.
enjoy being out there.
Nice. Yeah. That's just being out in the woods by
Yeah,
yourself, just your
yeah.
thoughts.
The quietness.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very relaxing, calming.
yeah, yeah. The
Um,
world is very loud and very busy around us.
yes, it is. It is. And speaking of hogs, I just got invited to a hunting lease. I want to say out close, a couple hours away from San Antonio.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I want to say west, but
Yeah.
I'm not too
Was
sure.
yeah, yeah.
And I ran across a video of some guy like, if this ain't America, and he was on a horse with a rifle, with a lever action rifle, just shooting hogs up and down the fence
Shooting
line,
hogs.
chasing them. And I asked the guy who invited me, I was like, "Can we do this?" And he's like, "If we bring our own horses," which I don't have, so it's not going to happen. He's like, "Well, we can helicopter. We can helicopter
There
hunt." I was
you
like, "That's
go.
even better." So that would be pretty neat. So it would be
Yeah,
around fall next year. What was it? November, December timeframe out
that
that way.
that would be cool.
Yeah. So
That'd be cool.
pretty excited for that. But
Yeah.
okay, so those were the three pop questions, and pretty cool that I ate at that one place. That was a
Yeah,
good restaurant.
yeah.
So
I'd forgotten about that.
yeah,
Yes.
I have a picture on my screensaver from that restaurant. So yeah, it was a good time. Bad day, but ended up good overall. So, but all right, well, let's get into your life story. So you
All
mentioned
right.
earlier, born in East Texas.
Yes.
Texas is huge, so I'll let you take it from here and talk about what part of East Texas and what life was like growing up.
All right. Well, grew up in East Texas, small town called Crockett, uh, named after David Crockett. Which, interesting enough, and interesting enough, where I lived in Tennessee was actually in Crockett County, but we'll,
Yeah,
we'll come back to that. But grew up there, small town, about 6,000 people, so pretty small town. Grew up there. So back up just a tad.
yeah,
So born actually in Houston, raised in Crockett. My father died when I was 3, and my mom, she had a nervous breakdown. So I moved quite a bit when I was a kid, but it was always in the East Texas area,
gotcha.
and just grew up hunting and fishing. Moved to Tennessee when I was 16, and we were getting essentially away from like an abusive type situation with my mother and aunt both.
Hmm.
And interesting trip. There were 8 of us that at the time we were in a Firebird that had bucket seats in the front, but there were 8 of us that left Texas
Jeez.
for Tennessee.
Yeah.
Um, and the plan was actually to go to Cookeville, which is in East Tennessee, but we got as far as Brownsville, which is in West Tennessee.
Yeah.
If you're from Tennessee, you understand East and West and Middle and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
so that's kind of what brought us to Tennessee, and that's where I joined the Air Force. In fact, the reason I joined the Air Force is I actually wanted to be a game warden. That was always what my dream job would have been. And like I mentioned earlier, lots of coon hunting. I mean, I coon hunted probably about 6 nights a week. I mean, I did that heavily whenever I was in high school. That's all I did was hunt.
Yeah.
Never was into the partying thing. That never really appealed to me. Joined the Air Force right out of high school, and still serving our country still in my current job as well. I knew that when I graduated high school, if I didn't do something, I
Yeah.
was going to be either working for a farmer or working construction work. In all
Hmm.
likelihood, that's what I did during high school on the weekends and during summer break and stuff. So, in fact, my best friend's dad, he's one that kind of talked me into going into the Air Force. He was in the Army during Vietnam, and he's like, "Man, you need to get out of here. You need to go in the Air Force because that's the best branch." And he was just always on me that you don't need to hang around here. You need to do something different. So that kind of sparked my interest was coming into the military.
Yeah.
Um, didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wasn't smart enough to go to school at that time. Definitely did not have the money.
Yeah.
Um, you mentioned my nickname being Money Mike. I mean, only thing I knew growing up was just living paycheck to paycheck,
Mm.
and I have a different view on that now, and
Yeah.
we'll get into that as the story goes along here. But went into the Air Force. Was in at the time they called it environmental support specialist. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good until I found out what it really was. It's actually a wastewater operator. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I did not join the Air Force for this. And I
Yeah.
remember being at Shepherd, the tech school, tech training.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, wow, this is awful. The day I found out what I was actually doing. In
Yeah.
fact, the way I found out, we'd fallen out to go to class for the first day, and everyone has a nickname in their jobs,
Yeah.
and of course I had no idea what ours was yet in my career field, but I heard somebody holler out, "All turd herders, come over here!" And I just started laughing. I'm like, "Wow, it sucks to be one of those guys." Well, I was one of those guys and didn't know
Yeah.
it.
Oh man. Joke's
So
on you. Get over here, Mike.
oh my gosh. So the first day was like kind of depressing, but I was like, you know what? I'm here. I'm gonna like everything I do. I'm gonna put 100% into it, and it was great. It's actually a great career field. But that's kind of where I started my Air Force career was as a wastewater operator in Eaker Air Force Base, which is now closed. In fact, I helped close the base. Literally, I was on the closing ceremony that was on the news. So
Yeah. Where was Eker at? Was that Arkansas?
Blytheville, Arkansas. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
right across the river from Dyersburg.
Okay.
For me, being from West Tennessee, it's about an hour and a half from the house for me, so it was
Yeah.
really good. In fact, I had swapped with a guy in tech school. He had Langley, and I
Okay.
had or he had Eaker, and I had Langley, and he and I swapped
Oh, nice.
because I knew it was a little bit closer to home, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go there. And
Yeah.
and nobody wanted to go there, but hey, that was home for me,
Yeah.
so it
Can't
wasn't bad at all.
can't beat that. All right.
Yeah,
Well, let's back up a little bit. Excuse me.
sure.
So born in Houston, which I will
Yep.
say I hate that city.
Oh, me too.
Never been in it. I got on the wrong what do you call that? The expressway around it. I was heading back to Florida, and I thought I was going the right way, but instead of going the short way, I went
Yeah.
all the way around it. And the traffic, I was there probably over an hour or two, just in traffic, and I was like, I'm never coming back to Houston ever again. That is the only reason I hate Houston.
Yeah,
I'm sure if I went, there'd probably be more reasons, but yeah. So born in Houston, grew up a little bit in East Texas.
Yeah.
And then you said, at what age did you go to Tennessee?
16.
16. So
yeah,
16 years in East Texas, small town. What was that
like? I'm sorry. I was 13. I don't know what I'm thinking. Yes, I turned 13. I was a teenager when we moved to Tennessee. It's within a day or two of my birthday. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
I told you wrong. It was 13, not 16.
Hey, it's all right. I know it was a short time ago. So
yeah.
Yeah, not too long ago. But what was life like in East Texas in a small town?
Well, it was a lot of hunting and fishing. I mean, that's kind of what I did. And I would have. I mean, I was content there. When you kind of grow up, you don't really whatever's going on is just what's going on, and it seems normal to you.
Yeah,
there was some abusive things. In fact, my aunt was my guardian because my mother's mental state. So
right.
So there's some abuse stuff going on there that none of the kids knew about at the time. We just knew that they were moving, and it was kind of I'm telling you, a spur of the moment thing. It was like, hey, we have this very small window. Put everything you can in the bag. We're hopping in the car and we're moving.
Yeah.
And we're just like, of the 8 of us, there were 3 adults and the rest of us were just kids. And everything that we had, the 8 of us, was in that Firebird. Again, with bucket seats in the front.
Yeah.
And we headed out.
Not to cut you off, but just thinking back to that time frame, 70s, 80s time frame, I remember riding in my mom's car, like in the floorboard, nobody cared. You'd be rolling around the back seat. You'd be in the back window going on long road trips. Seatbelt, what is that?
Yeah.
That stops me from bending over and getting my beer. Not that far. I'm sure people were that way, but yeah, I can see that, a Firebird with a ton of people in it, and just, a cop never looked twice, probably, these days they would, but. Yeah. So just midnight operation, throw everything you can, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it was. We had no clue. It was just grab a bag, put some clothes in it, we're leaving. And that's literally what it was.
And so you guys were bound for East Texas.
East Tennessee.
East Tennessee.
Yeah.
But then you guys stopped.
We stopped in Brownsville.
Yeah.
And that was just it. We're like, all right. Well, to be honest, they had run out of money is what it was. Mm-hmm. We didn't have the money to go any further.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it ended up being.
Gotcha. It makes sense. That's almost like a movie script sounding, and it's probably, how people settled, back in the day was like, well, this is it. This is where we are. And
here we are.
Plant your roots and you just go with life,
Absolutely.
So then life started in Tennessee. You guys escaped a bad situation, get to Tennessee. Things are looking up.
Yeah. My mom ended up remarrying once we'd moved to Tennessee. She'd been married several times before then. So it's interesting life growing up before we'd moved to Tennessee. But moved to Tennessee, and I just naturally, we always lived out in the country, so I naturally gravitated towards hunting and fishing.
Yeah.
And that's, if I wasn't in school, or if I could skip school, I'd be hunting or fishing. So
Yeah.
that was it. In in the whatever I killed and whatever I caught, I mean, that is what we ate. I mean, we
Yeah.
were pretty dirt poor when we were in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Really were. So it was it we needed what I brought in. Uh,
Yeah.
so it kind of sounds weird, but we had everything that I caught or killed. We ate.
Yeah.
So
That's, I mean, even to, even to today, I mean, that's a lot of people are still doing that way.
oh yeah,
Maybe not for so much necessity because they don't have much, but because
yeah,
they can do it,
yeah,
and why not?
absolutely,
You
yeah,
know, a little bit out of your pocket here, some time, and you're saving hundreds of dollars
yeah,
by
definitely,
switching to by switching to Bowtech.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, that's I mean that's a really cool story though. It started off bad, right? But then you guys make it there,
it,
set your roots, and then you're providing as a teenager for the family
oh yeah,
by hunting and fishing.
yeah,
Doing what our settlers did, and that's really cool.
yeah,
Um, and then you find a love for it because I mean, being out in the woods by yourself is pretty awesome, as we mentioned earlier.
yeah,
But now it's like now at the end it was a need. So it was pretty cool that you could do that and enjoy doing it because it would really suck if you didn't.
yeah, absolutely.
um, so then you stayed there for a little bit, and then coming up to the end of high school. So um, Brownsville, was it small? Was Brownsville small
Um,
then?
it was. I mean, it was probably at the time 10,000. I have no idea what the size is now.
Yeah,
We didn't live there long. We moved out in the country,
yeah.
out in the middle of nowhere, which was great. Um, and my mom had gotten married, and my stepdad he was all in hunting too, and he's one that kind of introduced me to coon hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing. We hunted and fished every single weekend at a minimum. But if we had opportunity, well, the coon hunting part we did every night just
Yeah,
about. So he's the one that definitely got me involved doing that,
yeah.
without a doubt. So
Um,
um,
it's funny you mentioned earlier, like if I would skip school to go hunting, um,
oh yeah,
and growing up, we skipped school and went hunting some, but a majority of the time was skipping school, going surfing, just because we lived on the beach.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it was you find that passion, and that's what
yeah,
you did. You look back on, you're like, why would I ever skip school? But I mean, it was a good time.
yeah.
It wasn't a good time skipping school, but the activity that you were doing, uh, for the kids listening out there, don't skip school. Not
Exactly.
good for you, and you're gonna get caught these days. Back then, we had our phone systems were different. We didn't have really computers. Not everybody had cell phones, but yeah.
Yeah,
And then somebody mentioned the Air Force, right? Somebody, you got the
yeah.
inkling. You're like, well, I'm not smart enough, which I'm sure you were smart enough. I can understand the money part because even today, getting kids into college, it breaks the bank.
It does. It's crazy. So to back up just a tad, so around 16, I would say, is when I started going to church, and that's when I was saved.
Yeah.
Was at 16. Now I had been around church from time to time. More or less, it was just somewhere that I could be dropped off at, and
Mhm.
so that was kind of my experience up until that point. But got pretty involved in church around 16, 17. So that's when I guess my Christian life started anyway.
Yeah.
But then went on and graduated and just knew that again, if I didn't do something different, then I was going to be stuck there. And I had no idea what it was going to look like joining the military. I just knew I wanted to do something different. Because I feel had I stayed there, then I'd probably still be doing the same stuff I was doing in high school.
Yeah. Makes
So to me,
sense.
it was really a draw to get away from that complete change And then my best friend's dad, he's the one that just continued to encourage me. You should do something different. If you don't get out of here, you're going to be stuck here.
Yeah.
And so he's one that motivated me to do something different.
All
So
right. Well, let's pull the thread on the when you became a Christian. So what drew you? What was the change then?
well, I can't pinpoint and say it was this one thing. I'd always felt, always kind of gravitated toward what was right. I mean, my
Mhm.
whole life, um, I just kind of gravitated towards that. But it was different around 18 or 16. It was like, I guess, the realization that, yeah, I'm good, if you will, but my good is nothing but filthy rags before a holy God. So
All right.
So I came to that realization, um, more than anything is, hey, you might think you're good, but you're really not.
Right.
And only through Christ, that's the only way that that anything good can come about of me, through what He did on the cross. So
Yeah.
I guess the realization of that is, and again, it wasn't a single bam, this is it. I've heard some amazing testimonies where, the lights go on and off, and
Yeah.
it's thundering outside or something. Mine's not like that. Mine is just kind of spread out. I've always felt God's presence from time to time.
Hmm.
Um, but at 16, it became real for me, real to me.
Yeah.
And even though then that's when I was saved, doesn't mean that I've continued down that path my whole life, because I didn't.
Yeah.
I came into the Air Force, was away from church, away from kind of what I was used to, and did stuff that people do at 18, 19 years old, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But I always knew that He was there for me, always. I've
Mhm.
never doubted that ever, that that Christ was always there, the Holy Spirit was always there. And when I catch myself doing something I shouldn't have been doing, I could always feel Him pulling me back.
Mhm.
And as you know, life is all about choices. It comes down to the choices that we make. You know, in fact, I was talking with a guy yesterday, 85-year-old gentleman here locally, and he was saying that when his daughter was going to school, to college,
Hmm.
he said, "You're going to wake up every day. You're going to have God on one side of your shoulder, and you're going to have Satan on the other side. You
Yeah.
get to choose which one you're going to listen to."
Yeah.
You sometimes we choose wisely, sometimes we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
And,
fact.
and and those are choices we still have every day. We make that choice every day. Sometimes we choose good, sometimes we don't. We're still sinners, all of us,
Oh yeah.
regardless. But
100.
hey, but
Yeah.
but we know that when we don't do something we're supposed to, that we're going to be convicted of that. And when we repent, we turn from that. Then He's quick to forgive. Thankfully,
Yeah. You mentioned your testimony, and it's and I felt the same way too with my testimony, because again, there was no like uh earth shattering thing that happened. I've heard people's testimonies, and I'm like, man, that's a
yeah,
really awesome way to be drawn to God. Um, and for me, it was, again, growing up in church, was baptized and saved at 8, but was I really? It wasn't until later that I really understood what it meant.
yeah,
Um, but just recently, we had to give our testimony um, to the church elders, and it was, you know, we had our combined testimony, but then it's like, talking to other people, it's like, well, what started you that way? I was like, I don't know, a song, started that way. Driving down the
yeah,
road, I was listening to um, Crowder,
yeah.
and
David Crowder. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
one of his songs is just like, man, it was like tugging at the heartstrings. But and that's just one of the pieces. So
sure.
it was never like I got into a car accident and my life
Yeah,
flashed before my eyes, anything like
yeah,
that. So it's good to hear other people, like, hey, this was just a process, along the way that, um, you know, we, it just happened.
Yeah. And the
But
cool thing about it is our testimony never stops until we die.
exactly.
I mean, it had a start, but it hasn't ended, and that's
Yeah.
what I always tell people, well, it started back when I was 16. However, this is where it's at today,
Yeah.
and it's constantly changing for us every day. We have the opportunity to talk to other people, to witness, to teach, and we should take those opportunities, even when it's uncomfortable. In fact, when it's uncomfortable is normally when we get the biggest blessing. When
Right.
it's like, do I really have to do this, God? This is really not what I want to do. But that's when I find, the true blessing. I get blessed more than the whoever I'm talking to, whatever I'm supposed to be doing.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Well, hey, we're at a good breaking point. Let's take like a 5 minute break,
okay,
and then gather up. I definitely want to get back to that. Witnessing, got a great story just recently,
all right,
about another gentleman witnessing, to me and my son. Um,
awesome,
and But we'll get on that, and we'll just continue to pull that thread a little bit, and then we'll get into the Air Force
all
and
right,
just continue that story. So, yep, I'll see you back after the break.
all right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. I couldn't do this without you. To help show support, please hit the like button, subscribe to the show, and leave a comment. Your support and your feedback mean the world to me. Thanks again for listening.
Okay, Mike, welcome back from the break. Hopefully, it was a good one.
Yeah,
Get some water.
yeah,
Um, all right. Well, we left off talking about the start of your Christian journey.
yeah,
When you started your walk with Christ, we had talked about some of the uh, different things that people have done, when you go and spread the gospel and things like that. Which brought to mind. I was just recently up in this happened in Minnesota, and I was eating at a Culver's, which was it was pretty good. It didn't really hit the spot after being on the road all day, but um, we were eating there, and this gentleman behind me and my son, he got up and he's like, "You guys, you ever seen $1 million bill?" And I'm like, and I knew I'd seen the $1 million bill
yeah,
thing before, and my son was like, "No, I haven't seen it." And he's like, "Okay, well, here's one." He says, "Now here's the $1 million question: Do you know who Jesus is? Do you know where you're going when you die?" And so we started had a brief conversation. I was like, "Hey, I spread the gospel differently, but I was like, this is pretty cool. I've actually seen this on, social media, people talking about doing this."
yeah,
Um, and So I thought it was pretty cool. I brought it to work, pinned it up at work, kind of in the way where people can, when they walk by, they see it. So hopefully
yeah,
they stop and ask the question. But yeah, it was pretty neat. There was a lot of reading on. I say a lot of reading, whatever can fit on a little bill like this big, but
yeah,
um, it's pretty cool. uh, People just out of the blue, and in today's society, especially up that way with everything that's going on
yeah.
in Minnesota. This guy just picked two dudes out of a restaurant and said, "Hey, you know,
That's interesting.
you know who Christ is." So, you mentioned some guys doing that? Is there one that stands out, or one that stands out to you, that you know?
As far as social media goes, I mean, the one you're talking about is probably Ray Comfort, because I have a stack of $1 million bills that
Yeah.
I'm going to be bringing. I'm going to be going to Kenya in about 2.5, 3 months.
Okay.
Going to be going back over there, but yeah, I mean, that particular he's on YouTube, social media, and stuff.
Mhm.
But you talk about the $1 million thing, and I've had very few do it to me personally. I've had, many people talking to me about witnessing and stuff like that. And that can be a challenge just to go and knock on somebody's door and try to talk to them about Jesus.
Yeah.
I love some of the tools that are available. You mentioned the $1 million bill.
Mhm.
I've got several different things that I use. But it can be extremely challenging, though, to just go and knock on somebody's door and say, "Hey, do you know who Jesus is?"
Yeah.
And then the responses you get, sometimes, the door will be shut in your face, and sometimes, a lot of times, we're afraid to really say anything because we don't think we know enough to be able to try to explain Christ to someone else. But what I found is Christ will give us the words we need when we need them. If
Yeah.
we're willing to step out and and try to talk to
Right.
someone about Jesus, about Christ. And I know that didn't really answer your question specifically. I mean, there's a bunch of people on YouTube that I watch.
Yeah.
I, like most anybody else, I'm challenged to do that because I'm afraid of what someone else might say or might think. I say I'm afraid. I'm not afraid. I don't care what they what they think.
Yeah.
That is not what I'm comfortable with. I enjoy visiting with people. I'm a deacon at my church, and we visit people in the community and stuff like that. I'm very comfortable with that. We're not all evangelists and can just walk and knock on a door and just be able to just let everything flow from us. That is challenging for anybody.
Yeah, it is. And I think you have some of those people that you see on social media and on YouTube, which I guess is kind of a form of social media these days, who are just super good at it, who visit the college campuses.
Yes.
There's a father-son combo.
Cliff is his first name.
Cliff. Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, his last name's kind of weird. It starts with a K, but Cliff and his son. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy their witnessing and how they can take people's random questions, and relate it back to the Bible. So I definitely enjoy watching them. They definitely have that skill, right?
Yeah.
And they know, it seems like they know the Bible back and front.
Yeah.
Or front to back, or however you want.
Another one you need to check out is Wes Huff. He is absolutely phenomenal. He's a young guy, and he's very schooled in biblical. He's over some. He's from Canada. That's where he's located at. And I forget what he's over, but he can absolutely give you facts and all the history of whatever biblical you're talking about. He's a great apologetics, and he can just go really in depth. And he does it in a non-threatening way. He's been on Joe Rogan, the big names. He's been on most of those. But he's pretty good. He'd be someone you might want to check out if you hadn't seen him before.
I have. He's came across my feed a couple times. And as a matter of fact, one of the guys at work, another way that I did before this $1 million bill, I had this little whiteboard, and I wrote on. I was like, I have good news, and just to see what people would say. If they stop by, they're like, well, what's the good news? I'm like, oh, I'm glad you asked. It's the gospel.
Yes.
But one of the guys that I don't work with him directly, but he's in the office setting, stopped by, and he's like, what is this? And I was like, oh, and he's a Christian. He's in his walk with Christ, and so we got to talking about it, and then we were talking about these influencers. I say influencers, but these social media guys.
Sure.
And that guy's name, Wes Huff, came up, and I was like,
okay.
And then I think I Googled him right there, and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy. I just didn't know his name. He goes along hand in hand with like Joby Martin. I don't know if you've heard of Joby Martin.
I have not. I'll be looking him up though.
He's not an evangelist per se, so he's not. He doesn't do apologetics in the sense of getting people on podcasts and things like that. He's actual pastor, I think, in Jacksonville. In Jacksonville, he's from South Carolina, and he's kind of like the man's man type pastor. Big dude, big beard, tats everywhere. And I think him and they're going to a conference, I think in Indiana this year, the
Okay.
16-13 or 13-16 conference. But either way, really good dude. I think he has a friend of mine turned me on to it. It's called the Daily Blade. It's a 3-minute, daily devotional,
Okay.
how to sharpen yourself.
Yeah.
But Joby Martin, same thing. We kind of came across him that way. So yeah, Wes Huff, I have watched a few of his clips here and there. So.
Yeah. But
Awesome.
back to the $1 Million Bill,
Yeah.
that sounds like Ray Comfort.
Okay.
And he is, man, the way, and he's in California, and the way he introduces people to Christ is phenomenal. And what he normally starts out is, hey, well, and he's got a Australian accent.
Yep.
So I won't even pretend like I got one because I got a Texas one. So, but anyways, he's like, hey, what do you think's going to happen when you die? And most people, well, I'm going to go to heaven. What do you think?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, are you a good person? Yeah, I'm a good person. And he says, well, based on the 10 commandments, and then he kind of starts naming them off. Have you ever looked at a woman of the opposite sex and lusted after her? Well, yeah, everybody has. Well, have you ever used the Lord's name in vain? Well, yeah, most people do.
Yeah.
Have you ever stole anything, even if it's real small? Well, yeah. He said, well, just by the first 3, you're a lying, cheating, adulterous, blasphemer.
Yeah.
And that's just the first 3. So that's how he starts his off. So it's pretty neat. It really is.
You say that. There's another guy, freakishly tall Todd Friel, and he does the same thing. He's based out of Atlanta, and he'll go,
really?
go to like Georgia Tech. He'll go downtown Atlanta, and he'll witness the guys. And he does it. It's called Witness Wednesdays on his podcast.
Witness Wednesdays. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's really big. We would listen to it to church on our way to church.
Okay.
And so, but he would do the same thing. He's like, well, you ever killed anybody? And the guy's like, no. He's like, well, have you ever looked at somebody and, hated somebody? Well, and they're like, yeah, well, you've killed them. In the eyes of the Lord, you've killed them. You've committed murder. So, or thou shalt not kill. So, it's very cool to really think of it that way. But
and there's 2 other names I'll just kind of throw out there. One is Paul Washer, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
He is just here's the facts, and just kind of, I don't want to say in your face. It's just here's the truth.
Yeah.
And another one that we just lost, Vodi Bachman.
Yeah.
Man, that was just a shocker. Of course, Charlie Kirk was another one that just totally blew me away. But Vodi Bachman was he was about the best I've ever heard when it comes to just good old preaching. Giving you the word. That was, love listening to him. Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, so I guess we get back on track. So that was a good rabbit hole, which was good. I liked it because there's a bunch of names that I'm definitely, once we're done tomorrow, look them up and start, listening to these guys.
Yeah.
But so we're in Tennessee. You've given your life to Christ. You're 16. We've kind of, we've gone back and forth. We went through that. So between that time and joining the Air Force, just doing a lot of hunting, a lot of fishing, things like that. You get talked into joining the Air Force, which was a smart choice, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Out of all the branches, the best. I think the best one. I'm biased though.
Yeah, I am too.
So
just a little.
But I've seen them all. I've been on all the bases. I would agree. The Air Force is the best one. So you join the Air Force. You go to basic training in Lackland, where you, me, my dad, my mom, our grandparents, everybody's been. It's never changed. Then you make it to Shepherd Air Force Base, just outside of in Wichita Falls, Texas. Yep. Find out you're what'd you say, the
herd herder was the nickname.
Herd herder.
Environmental support specialist.
Environmental support specialist. We got to read the fine print on that one. Yeah. And then, so before you went in, did you go in open general?
No, open mechanical.
Open mechanical. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. A lot of guys, you find these days a lot of guys go in open general and you're like, why?
Yeah.
You're going to wind up in a place that you don't want to be.
Yeah.
And you're going to do 4 years and get out. But, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
You found your path along the way.
I did.
So then you go to Eaker, you trade for Langley. You're supposed to come out to Langley.
Yeah.
And then you moved over to Eaker Air Force Base, which is no longer there.
Closed down. It's interesting. You can still drive on the base and see all the buildings. It's just open.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of eerie to go on there and see buildings, falling down, trees growing up through them and stuff like that. But it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And it's funny you say, like, you traded for Langley to go to Eaker, but some people are, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So it's, I find that pretty cool. Like, well, everybody says Minot, right? Why not Minot?
Why not Minot?
Minot Air Force Base. I've never been personally, and I don't think any of my family, you guys have ever been.
No,
so
never been.
I don't know what it's like. And I think it might have just got that moniker because of like, oh, it's North Dakota. Who wants to go to North Dakota? But
exactly.
It's I've heard it's actually super nice.
Well, I've told thousands upon thousands of people, every base is kind of what you make of it.
Exactly.
I mean, you can, if you go there and say, oh, I hate it here, I don't like it, this is awful, then you're going to hate it. It's going to be awful. But if you go there with the attitude that, all right, I'm here, I'm going to get involved in something, get out of the norm if we're talking, service members. If you get out and get involved, you're going to have a good time wherever you're at. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think so. Except, oh man, what is the base in New Mexico? Not Kirkland.
Oh,
but Cannon.
Cannon.
I think that holds true for every base but Cannon, because there is literally nothing around Cannon. It is surrounded, but just jokes. I'm sure it's great. And you will make of it what you do. So, but all right. So you get to Eaker, right? You get to Eaker.
Yep.
You start your job. Now, was it what you expected? What you kind of learned through tech school, or was it something totally different?
It really was. It was pretty much in line with what they taught us and showed us at tech school.
Yeah.
It really was. It was almost identical what they had showed us in tech school. So kind of surprising because being from the training world, it seems like a lot of the stuff that you learn at the school is way different when you get to the field. But mine was kind of spot on at the time.
Gotcha. And did you start to enjoy the job?
I did. I actually enjoyed the career field quite a bit, and they eventually combined us with plumbers, and they called us utilities at that point. But I enjoyed the science part of it, which is kind of weird. And the technical part of it, where we're not just looking at wastewater coming in and out, but there's a lot of stuff that makes all of that happen.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that aspect of it. Just the mechanics of it, the science of it. You got to have good bugs to eat the bad stuff. I mean, it's, if you can kind of use your imagination there when we're talking about wastewater.
Yeah.
But it wasn't near as bad as I thought. It really wasn't. Really wasn't.
Okay. So what's some things? So how long were you at Eaker for then?
Eaker? Yeah. I was at Eaker for, I guess, about 3 years. The first 3 years of my career, I was there. And that's where your aunt and I got married.
Yeah.
We was there while we were at Eaker. I can remember, I got all kind of stories from Eaker, but I remember kind of jumping back to the Christian thing. I remember talking to one of my buddies going down the road one time, and I'm believing I was quoting, I'm thinking it's Matthew 3:23, maybe 3:25. But if you look upon a woman with lust, then you've already committed adultery with her. And I
Yeah.
remember he and I having that discussion going down the road, and he just got the biggest chuckle out of that. He's like, "It ain't the same. There's no way it can be the same." And I'm like, "Well, in a sense, if you think about it," he's like, "No, I'm telling you, it's not the
Yeah.
same." But I
Yeah.
can remember that discussion that we had, and I don't know why I remember that, but
Yeah.
his idea was no, that is not the same. And I remember us arguing about that
Yeah.
when I was there. So
Now, I think I do remember going to drop stuff off at Eaker Air Force Base back in the day. I spent a lot of time in Tennessee growing
yeah,
up.
yeah,
So I do
probably so.
vaguely
I mean, I could.
at the
I
yeah.
have no doubt. I'm sure at some point you were there. Yeah,
Yeah. I like there's this little memory of like old red brick barracks,
yeah.
something like that.
That would
And
be it.
yeah, um, and dropping stuff off. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. So you met your wife there, your first wife
Yes.
there.
Yes.
How'd that happen? How'd you guys meet?
Um, I was coming out of the post office,
Hmm.
and I noticed that her car had a Tennessee tag on it,
Gotcha.
and that's kind of how that started.
Yeah.
Um, and and we just kind of hit it off there. I mean,
Yeah.
I say that I think I was leaving, and I noticed the tag, and come to find out, I think she lived like in a wing in the same building that I was in.
Yeah.
I was in CE, and she was in medical, and
Mhm.
that's kind of what started. Just noticed the tag.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then to be from quite close to each other as well.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. No, it's a small world. I
Yeah.
mean, I still meet people from time to time, and I'm like, "You're from where?" I know
Yeah.
where that's at.
It
Yeah, small world.
it is. Talking about small. So we were celebrating a birthday, and my son had his friends over, or not his friends over. We went out to dinner, um, and he brought it. Well, his friends brought their parents, and come to find out, they were from. I think they were both from, or not. The dad was from Dyersburg area,
Oh,
and it's or somewhere around there, somewhere around Jack.
yeah,
Because it's funny because you mentioned that like small towns like that. So you meet people and you're like, well, where are you from? Like, oh, West Tennessee, and you're like, okay, where? And like Jackson. You're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, I know where Jackson's at, and
yeah,
like I did some time in Dyersburg, and like, oh, I'm from Yorkville. You're like, okay, I know
yeah,
exactly where that's at.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I'm kind of by Memphis, but um, but that's how that happened.
yeah.
And then of course the rest of the dinner was, well, do you know this person? Do you know this family? Do you know this family? Which odds are they did. I can't remember if they did or not, but
Yeah,
yeah. So you saw her. She had a Tennessee plate. That got you guys talking. And come to
yeah,
find out, you guys were both from basically the same area in Tennessee.
yeah. From like 20 miles apart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
crazy. And so where to go from there?
Well, we got married, and then when we were shutting Blyville down or Eaker down, we got orders to Eglin,
Hmm.
and we were at Eglin for about 8 years. Had a tour in South Korea during that time, but um, and that's where both boys were born in Florida, and that was a really neat experience going there to Florida. Had at rather than the wastewater plant, I moved up to the water side of things.
Yeah,
So that was a great experience. I would have stayed there forever. I
yeah.
really enjoyed where I worked at and the people that I worked with and stuff. That was really special there in Florida. really was. And I didn't really care for the beach a whole lot. I'm not a beach person, but yet I worked on it every day as part of my job in the water shop, was checking water wells, and I was up and down the beach every day, and it was just kind of nice. But some people are like, "Oh, the beach." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's pretty there. Prettiest beaches I think in the U.S. probably." But
I would agree.
I wasn't into the beach a whole lot.
Yeah, no, that's funny too, because that area of Florida is where everybody from Tennessee goes to.
Oh yeah,
and Alabama.
Yeah. All our friends, they go there every year still.
Yeah. So it's and you live there, and you're like, you know what, whatever, man. I don't.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It's just the beach.
Yeah. So I think if we back up to the Tennessee time, and I'm pretty sure it's before you guys went to Eglin. But back in the Tennessee time, I think I remember, and we were kind of talking about this on the break, but obviously I think it was around Christmas time when it was you, me, and my dad, maybe. I'm pretty sure it was my dad, but we all went, the three of us went mistletoe hunting. I don't know.
Yeah, to gather mistletoe.
To gather mistletoe out there by where my grandfather lived. And shooting it down or knocking them down. I do remember that. And then going out shooting, and how I said that, shooting my 12 gauge, and, it just reminded me of, that thing you see on social media. It's like I lost trust in my family when they gave me the 12 gauge and told me it doesn't kick. Just going, those times were so fun. Like you just go anywhere and just go shoot. I remember in the back of my great grandmother's house, we just everybody line up and just shoot into the woods.
Just go and shoot.
Yeah. Which
unheard of now.
Oh yeah, no.
In the world that we live in.
I know. Well, because I even thought, you shoot once, somebody's going to probably call the cops, and then there's hardly any land anymore to shoot, because any open land they're building on.
Yeah.
So, pretty crappy.
Yeah.
But, I tell you what, let's, so we got up to Eglin. Then you went to Korea for a little bit. We want to talk about, I guess, kind of at the end of Eglin, Korea, and then where you guys, when we take a break, but when we get back, we'll pick up there and continue pressing forward. Because I know you guys, you went over to Germany, and you guys came to Fort Benning, which then I showed up to Fort Benning a little bit later, which you guys had already gone by then. But yeah, and start talking about that. Some things I want to get into is a little deeper too. Is did your faith in Christ play any big roles in the time while you're in the military? Did you run across anything that that really stands out? That you had somebody you worked with, and just your faith, you were able to kind of lay it on them and talk to them about if they had questions, anything like that. If you could think of anything like that, that's definitely let's hit that up when we get back, and we'll just take it from there and see where we go.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, all right, we'll see you in a minute then. Mike, welcome back from the break, and while we're on the break, I remembered something you had said earlier in the podcast about the World Youth Hunt.
Yes.
And it was coon hunting, right? So what
what
was that about?
Well, it was actually for a scholarship. You had to be under, I want to say under maybe 17, 18 is typically right before you graduate. And the idea behind it, if depending on how well you did, you could win a scholarship towards college. That was the intent of it. And that year, the hunt was in, I want to say in Illinois, I think is where it was at. And I was actually using another guy's dog, a famous dog at the time in the world of coon hunting. The dog's name was 8 Ball. It's kind of funny. It was a black and tan coonhound, but he was really, really good. And there were extremely high expectations. And a guy drove me up there that, he was driving up because he was going to be one of the judges. So what they have is they call it a cast. It's a group of 4 people with dogs, and then there's a judge that goes along with it. Well, he was one of the judges, and I rode with him. I mean, it was a long trip from Tennessee to Illinois. I say a long trip. It was long to me. I was young, so it's probably like 3 hours away. But I didn't win. I forget what place. There was like, I'm thinking there were maybe 32 of us. Like, and I don't think we had 4. I think we had 3 per cast. And I don't know. I ended up like 14th or something like that. But it was a neat experience to be recognized as one of the top in the country at my age.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All the people I was hunting with, they were way older than me. I mean, I was 16, 17, 18, and everybody else was like 50. And I say, oh, that ain't old anymore because I'm 55. That is young still. I'm just telling you.
It is. It's funny you say that because I literally had this conversation today with the dude at work, where we were talking about just being older, having kids at an older age. And, you're like, well, if I have a kid at 40, I'll be 60 by the time they get out. And you're like, that's old. But then you're like, you're almost there. And you're like, well, it's not that old.
It ain't that old. It is not old anymore.
And guys who are 60 are still doing marathons and, Ironman and whatever. But then we were talking about the Golden Girls. So when the Golden Girls were in the height of their thing, they were like in their 30s or something. And you're looking at them, they're like, oh my gosh. So I guess the younger you are, the older people, and you're like, but now that you're there, you're like, man, what are you talking about? Dude, I'm still vibrant.
Well, my wife's grandmother told her that you're only as old as what you feel.
Yeah.
Or the way you act, actually, not the way you feel because you feel bad, but I want to say she was in her 80s, and she said, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm still like 28 years old.
Yeah.
The body's not there, but the mind is, hey, let's go do this. Let's go do that.
Yeah. Stay active.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
So is there a secret to coon hunting for people that have never coon hunted? Like what is that experience like for people?
Well, it is cool. And I haven't done it in many, many, many years. I have watched some YouTube videos recently. That's kind of sparked my interest again. Not enough to get dogs or anything, but just being outside, hearing the dogs run, chasing, and then train the coons. And man, there was nothing like it when I was in high school. I mean, that was the ultimate rush. The ultimate high was, releasing the dogs, and especially in a competition hunt. And we had good dogs, and I was pretty good. I mean, I knew the rules real well, and I'm a gold personality. That means I like rules. So you learn the rules with something, and then you use those rules to your advantage, and that's exactly what I did. Like anything else, a pilot uses whatever's in place, and you use that knowledge to the fullest potential. And that's kind of what I did with coon hunting. So I just enjoyed listening to the dogs and trump around out in the woods. And I stopped watching scary movies when I was real young because I'd be out there a lot of times by myself. I mean, when I say I hunted every night, it wasn't that I was with a group of people always. Sometimes I was just out hunting by myself. 16, 17 years old, and you're watching Halloween and the Freddy and all that kind of stuff. No, I stopped watching that stuff years ago. I was afraid to go out there a time or two, and I'm like, all right, no more scary movies for me. But it was good just being out there. It's different at night than it is during the day.
Yeah. I've hunted at night a few times, so definitely. I like the night a lot better. You definitely hear stuff.
Yeah. It's so quiet at night. Yeah.
So okay. Well, cool. So now that I got that out, I was like, because it crossed my mind. I was like, wait a minute, we totally glazed over this coon hunting thing, but I just want to touch base on that. So when we left off before the break, we were talking about you were at Eglin, and and so before you left there, were there any like kind of crazy stories or anything anything of mention while you're there?
Yeah, I mean, my best friend there was Jerry, and he was actually a ordained minister. He was
Mhm.
in the plumbing shop, so we were in the same career field. We did a lot of hunting together, and just a bunch of guys in their late 20s doing crazy stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I just fishing. I mean, we did stuff like we went and launched the boat one time, and I thought he had the rope, and he thought I had the rope, and the boat's just going out, across the lake, and took us a while to get it back, and uh, just crazy. I remember back in the boat trailer into, I think we were loading the boat up, and I thought I put the truck in park, and I didn't, and I stepped out and jumped back in as the back of the truck went into the lake. So
Oh my
just
goodness.
crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he was really a great mentor to me. I mean, we were the same age,
Mhm.
but he was in a way different place with his walk with Christ at the time. And I just remember us talking so many times. One thing that has always stuck out, and I've said it several times since, we were always talking about the Bible and this and that. But, I always said to him, even if the Bible wasn't true, if it was all made up and fictitious, what if the whole world followed that, even if
Mm.
it wasn't true? What
Yeah.
a peaceful world that we would live in.
Right. Yeah.
And he'd always kind of reel me back in. Well, yeah, that's true. But, you know, then he would get biblical and explain stuff that I'd never had stuff explained to me before. So,
Mm.
in fact, when I ended up at Shepherd uh, after Eglin, he actually ended up coming there like a couple years later as an instructor as well. So we
Oh,
kind of
very
got
nice.
to meet up again
Yeah.
towards the end of my career.
Gotcha. Now, do you still, so the stories you're saying, I'm sure you remember it. I don't know if many people do, but the old Bill Dance shows they used to
Oh
have,
yeah.
and you'd always have those bloopers at the end.
Oh yeah.
I tell you, that's what that sounded like.
Oh yeah.
Old,
In watching some of Bill Dance stuff, yeah, there was definitely some of the stuff that you watch on his bloopers,
yeah,
without a doubt.
yeah, good old Bill Dance, big old Tennessee hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you still friends with Jerry? Do you guys still talk or anything?
No, he's in Georgia. I
Mhm.
believe it's where he's at. Um, I mean, just through social media every once in a blue moon. But no, we're not close. Not like we
Gotcha.
were. Yeah.
Gotcha. Perfect. So did you really start to grow in your faith in Eglin? Is that
Um, I would, to some extent,
yeah?
but not like I did when I got to Shepherd.
Okay.
Um, it was a whole new world when I got to Shepherd than what I'd experienced to that point in my Christian walk.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay. We'll get there. So
yeah.
so you leave Eglin. Where do you go next?
To Shepherd.
To Shepherd.
So
Okay. So
I was at Eglin for 4 years. Got orders to Kunsan, and then was actually had orders from Kunsan to Scott.
mhm.
And like 2 weeks after I got to Korea, I got diverted back to Eglin. So my follow on was back at Eglin. So a story on that you may not even be aware of. When I was getting ready to leave to go to Korea,
Mhm.
our oldest son was 2 at the time. So it was literally the day that we were Stephanie was going to drop me off
Yeah.
at for the to catch the plane, and our oldest son got sick. I mean, he could not hardly breathe. And we had no idea what was going on. We knew that something was up with him and had been up, but he'd never been diagnosed with anything because he
Yeah.
would just start coughing and couldn't hardly breathe. Well, it was extremely bad. I think he probably had a cold, and we
Mhm.
got him into it's probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. We drove him to the ER at Scott, and the doctor said, had y'all been a little bit later getting here, he may not have made it.
No
And you
way.
talk
Yeah.
about just part stop. It's just unbelievable. So I was delayed, I think, a week or so getting to Korea because of that emergency revisit.
Yeah.
But anyway, we went to Scott because we thought that's where the follow-on was at, and everything had already been packed. 2 weeks later, we get diverted back to back to Eglin. So Stephanie had to move everything, get it shipped back to Florida.
Yeah.
And so that kind of
that's gonna be tough, just it sucks. I think it would suck definitely for our spouses, having to do that on your own, get everything shipped back and having to take care of that, while you're a world away and 12-hour difference, it's nighttime there and daytime, where you're at. And so trying to make those calls. Yeah. Definitely pre-computers. Yeah.
Pre phones, pre everything. I mean, this was, we had one where I worked at, but it was running like Windows 3.1. There was no internet, no network, nothing.
Yeah. No, because not soon after that, I joined the military, and they made me sign. I wouldn't say soon after that. I was still a teenager. But when I joined, they were like, "Hey, you need to sign this paper for the internet, for your email." I'm like, "Well, what do I need that for?"
Who needs that? I don't need that.
Like there was one computer in the squadron, and I'm like, okay, cool. But now, you can't live without it. Like, internet's down, email's down,
crazy.
we're gonna go home. So
yeah.
So pre-computer, time, just that last minute change. Instead of going there, now you got to go here, and man, it sucks. And
and I've often said I think the military spouses have it really rough. I mean, for me, once as a military member, whenever I would go on a deployment or whatever, once you get there, you kind of get in a groove, and it's just kind of like Groundhog Day, same thing day and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I think of the military spouses. I think they have a challenge because they've got to kind of pick up where that service member, pick up whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
And they got, I don't know. I've always thought they had it as rough as I did on the deployments and stuff that I went on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree. If not rougher, because, for us, us being over there, we know what's going on. For them, they don't, you're in a combat zone, you're deployed.
Yeah.
They don't know what's happening day to day. And every phone call, each phone call could be, the one they don't want. So yeah, definitely I can understand. And then they got to pick up like you said, pick up the slack, take care of the kids, still do grocery shopping, while we're over there, we get
all the stuff.
Yeah. We have,
and of course, something breaks every time you leave, go on deployment, something's going to break.
TDY deployment. I will tell you, every time I stepped, I was always told, like, I knew the moment you got on the airplane because something broke.
Something broke.
Something went wrong. And so, I do feel for the, for the spouses for sure. On that. But, all right. So you go to Kunsan, or you go to Korea.
Yeah.
And then instead of, going to Scott, now you go to Shepherd and you pick up an instructor slot?
Back to Eglin.
Oh, back to Eglin. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to Eglin. Did you guys get the same house?
No, it was on base, but it was just around the corner.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
I do remember the house on Eglin, one of them, and it was an end unit. You guys kind of had like a gap between the next, I think, set of houses. Was that pre or post?
That would have been post.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been post Korea.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I remember. I don't remember the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a fun time. Spent the summer up there. It was a good time hanging out with family. Met some new people, some kind of shady people there too. Shady.
Well, one of the things I'll always remember about Eglin is, and I just crossed my mind, is I was on the ride out crew when Hurricane Opal came through and blew most of the base away. That was pretty interesting. We were hunkered down in one of the buildings, and went out when the eye came over because we had reports of a issue at one of the water towers. And me and one of my coworkers, we jumped in the truck, went across base to check out what we thought was an issue. And then coming back, I mean, there were trees all over the road. They wasn't there like 5 minutes ago. A tornado or something came through and knocked trees down. So pretty wild. There was gravel coming off the roof of the building next to us, hitting the glass, and actually broke some of the glass on, I think, the floor below us or something. It was crazy.
Goodness gracious.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Very nice. Yeah, that would be pretty insane. Where did Stephanie and the kids go? Did they
evacuated to Tennessee.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a normal, I don't know, 6-hour drive turned into like a 19-hour drive because everybody was leaving.
Yep.
I mean, everybody was leaving North Florida. So.
Yeah, it's funny. It's I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, we had a hurricane coming to hit Charleston. And so we all packed up, went to Fayetteville, took some back roads, luckily, because I-95, I mean, don't even get me started on I-95. I hate I-95, even without a hurricane. There's traffic, but we took some back roads. We made it there. And then overnight, the hurricane shifted north and it smacked into Fayetteville. Yeah, so like nothing was touched in Charleston, but it went up right to Fayetteville. So, but yeah, hurricane traffic is the worst.
It is. It's crazy.
It is. I hate it. 95. I hate 95, regardless of the time of year or day, especially around Savannah. There seems to always be traffic around Savannah on I-95. So if you're listening, avoid Savannah on I-95.
Yeah, no doubt.
But all right, so you go back to Eglin. Spend how much more time in Eglin did you spend?
About 3.5 years, about 8 years total.
Dang. Yeah. Okay. Then you moved up.
Stayed there forever.
Yeah.
Had I not got called to the shirts office. Said you got two choices. You could go become a recruiter, or you could go become an instructor. Mm. Which one would you like to do? I said, what about the third option where I stay here and do what I'm good at?
Yeah.
And he's like, again, you have two options.
Yeah.
So Eglin it or Shepherd it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being a recruiter though, would you have gotten your choice of like where to go? Maybe back to Tennessee or Texas?
Probably so.
Yeah.
I just did not feel recruiting in anywhere that I would have been comfortable with.
Yeah.
So, I was really good at my job. I really pride my job a lot. I took a lot of pride in it. I always wanted to be the go-to person for anything that came up. And I was a lot of times, and I'm in no way bragging. I just took pride in, hey, if I'm responsible for something, I want to be the absolute expert on that. So I was good at what I did, and that's what I wanted to continue to do. I didn't want to get behind a desk. I wanted to be out in the field doing the job.
Yeah,
that's what I enjoyed doing. Yeah,
makes sense. So you got excuse me, you got orders up to Shepherd to be an instructor.
Yeah. Yeah, that was I made tech about the time I got to Shepherd. Enjoyed instructing, enjoyed teaching, and now before that I would have never wanted to get up and talk in front of anybody because that was definitely not who I was.
Yeah.
But I got over that pretty quick, and Shepherd was good. My time at Shepherd was very well, and I mean I'm still here, so that tells you something. This was in 2001 when I moved here initially, when we moved from Florida. But before we left Florida, we had our second child, second son. So, moved here, and life was just chug-a-lugging along.
Yeah.
Had a couple back-to-back special duties here at Shepherd. In fact, I had 3: the instructing, then I ran FTAC. They call it FTech now, and
F-Tech?
then finish. What's that?
They call it F-Tech now?
Yeah, instead of first term airman, it is first term enhancement program. So that's the tech part instead of TAC, which I think is crazy. But anyway, same thing.
Yeah.
Did that, and then my last one was superintendent over at the Military Family Readiness, or ANFRC, Airman Family Readiness at the time.
Yeah. They call it something different now too, don't they? They call it
Military Family Readiness.
Yeah, just getting rid of the airmen.
Yeah, just put military instead of airman on.
Yeah,
and we do serve all branches, so.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, and I thought they were doing that because of the Space Force coming on and being so tied to, so close to the Air Force. But
no, primarily because of all the joint bases that we have now.
It makes sense.
They serve multiple, branches. So rather than airmen, now it's just military.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. Superintendent of the Military Readiness Center. So how was that? How was that time up there altogether? Across all three.
It was great. That last one almost didn't happen. Our command chief at the time, I actually had it set up to go back to the schoolhouse, and I was going to be a CDC writer.
Mm-hmm.
And the chief caught wind of that, and he was like, "Your next move will be off of Shepherd Air Force Base."
Yeah.
And I, at the time, I was a master sergeant, so I knew I could say stuff a little bit. I could say some stuff without getting in too much trouble. So we had an exchange, and he's like, your next move is moving off Shepherd. You need to call the chief over at the schoolhouse, tell him you're not available for that, and I'll talk to you later. And so I had to call that chief back and say, "Sir, I'm not available for this." And then sure enough, the command chief calls me back and says, "Did you already make contact with, I can't, I don't, with the chief over there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I took care of that." He said, "Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm doing this because it's best for you." And I remember telling him, "Well, sir, I didn't ask for your help. And if I wanted your help, I would have asked for it." And he's like, "Well, I'm going to protect you from yourself." And it just so happens that this ANFRC came up about the same time, and I mentioned it to him. I'm like, "Well, what if I just stay in the squadron on that?" He's like, "Again, I'll reiterate, your next move will be off Shepherd Air Force Base."
Yeah.
And it just so happened, I say just so happened, God had planned it, that he's leaving within like a day or two, and our part of FTAC is under the Force Support Squadron, FSS, used to be MSS way back in the day. He'd called me and said, "Look, this job is open over at the Military Family Readiness. I'd really like to move you over there." I'm like, "Well, the command chief said," he's like, "Look, he's leaving in 2 days. Don't say anything to anybody. After he leaves, I'll announce it." Yeah. So like 2 days later, he's out of there. And then the commander comes down and says, "Hey, guess what? We got a new superintendent over at the Military Family or Airman Family Readiness Center." So that's how that whole thing took place.
That's awesome. I bet that guy turned around, looked back, it's like, son of a gun. I told you, Mike.
I don't even know where he went, but he would not have been happy.
No, not at all. Yeah. So, I find God plays a lot of roles in where you go and things like that, and he's definitely got a hand in it.
Absolutely.
Seen it firsthand, both in the military and out of the military. So he definitely puts you where you need to be, where he wants you.
Yeah, and that's so neat because my spiritual gift is service. I've always enjoyed serving, and that's what I do every day when I'm at work. Even I did it then, and then I do it now over at the Military Family Readiness Center. So, we're all about helping other people. So it was a absolute perfect fit for me going over there and finishing my career out there.
Yeah, that's good. And so that's where you finished. You retired as the superintendent there.
Yes.
And then you went into became a GS.
Yes. In fact, when I was on terminal leave, I got hired back at the
Mhm.
Military Family Readiness Center. In
Nice.
fact, I just literally moved right back into my old office. There's still stuff I left there.
Yeah.
Um, eh, I was on terminal leave. I went on a deployment right before I retired, so I had I think I had like 118 days of leave saved up, and I was able to carry that over because of the deployment. So I double dipped for several months there before my actual retirement date. So that worked out. That worked
Yeah.
out really well. Yeah,
Yeah.
retired in 2010, and then went civil service from there. Yeah.
And so you stuck around there for a little bit, and I'm pretty sure you guys moved to 2 more times after that.
From there, in around 2014, um, your aunt had gotten a job in Georgia at Fort Benning, and so I followed her there to Georgia,
Yeah.
and and some things started happening around 2014. Wasn't quite sure what was going on. That was when we first started having some issues. Was around that time frame, and went to Georgia, and then spent about a year in Georgia, and then a year later we were in um, Germany. I was
Hmm.
in Stuttgart, and then she was up at Wiesbaden. We both got jobs overseas
Yeah.
in Germany, and over there is where our marriage ended. Over there,
Gotcha.
um,
Yeah.
it's in as we kind of went through the process and everything, and in fact, that was by far the most difficult thing that I've ever went through in life was that. Um, but I knew I needed to get my youngest son, back to Texas because that's all he really ever knew. He's born in Florida, but he was like 2 years old or a year old when we moved to Texas. So
Yeah.
everything he had ever done was here,
Right.
and I just knew that somehow I need to get him back to his friends, the people that he's used to, just for the stability because I had custody of him,
Right.
and God, and of course it's sad that when we go through a storm, that's when we cling to God, but He wants us to cling to Him all the time. But of
Yeah.
course, going through everything, I certainly drew back to Him. I had stepped away from Him for 2 years,
Hmm.
knowing that was a mistake, but you just kind of do everything you can at the moment to try to, just to make marriage work.
Yeah.
And But anyway, I knew I needed to get him back. So, I'm like, I should just call my old boss just to see, is there anything there? Well,
Hmm.
before I left in 2014, there was a guy that was coming in, and his plan was to work for a couple of years and just retire. He was coming back to take care of his parents,
Yeah.
and and so he came and took my position. It was like a lateral. So, but when I called my boss at Shepherd, I was in Germany. I'm like,
Hmm.
hey, this is kind of what's going on. In fact, she told me when I left that, I'm talking to you as a friend. You shouldn't be leaving Texas. You need to stay
Yeah.
here and get
Yeah.
things figured out. But um, anyway, I called her. She's like, you're not going to believe this, but the guy that replaced you, he retired 2 weeks ago. And I was like, hmm. I'm like, would you consider rehiring me? She said, absolutely. She said, in fact, I don't even have to advertise the position. I can just move you in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, it's amazing to see God work.
Yeah.
And with the government process, there's typically a time.
Hmm.
You want to do X, Y, Z, and the government don't actually move that quick sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I waited. I was waiting on orders to get back to Shepherd, and I remember walking over to the personnel building because I knew I could finagle. I knew I could finagle the process to speed up me getting orders. because my son was out of school. School was going to be starting in Texas, and my goal was to get him there before then. So my thought is I can go over there and tell them that, hey, I need to get my son over there. Y'all need to hurry up with my orders. As I'm walking over, because everything's walking over in Germany. Once you get a parking spot, if you move, you won't have another parking spot. So I was walking over to the personnel building, and God just kind of revealed on my way over that you're going to tell this story someday to other people.
Yeah.
And do you want to do it my way, or do you want to do it your way?
Yeah.
So I get over there to the personnel building, and I thought I had this plan that I could say this and do that, and it would speed the process up. But I decided, I can't do that. I've got to do. I knew God was showing me, hey, here's your way to get back to what's going to be best for your son. He provided that. I needed to learn how to be patient. So when I walk into the lady's office, I'd already decided, whatever she tells me is what she tells me, because God's in control. I'm not, and I'm not going to come up with this story to try to get what I want.
Yeah.
And I walk into her office. She's like, I'm so glad you came over. And I am not kidding. She had a pile of folders. I mean, it was yay high. And she's like, yours is right on top. And, I just want to let you know I got your orders here. And, I was almost crying at that point. It's like, wow, what an amazing God that has orchestrated all this. And that's kind of what brought us back to Shepherd.
Yeah, perfect. Well, hey, let's take a quick break, and we'll get back. We'll pick up on Shepherd. I kind of want to start to wrap it up when we get back. Talk about Shepherd. I want to dig into your time podcasting, but I know that you've got a really nice church that you go to there. Real nice family, church family there. Kind of want to talk about that before we close her up. And so let's take a break, and then when we get back, we'll start wrapping it up.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. All right. We'll see you at the end of the break.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Hey, welcome back from the break. So just to pick up where we left off, you had retired. You moved around in retirement. That now you're back to Shepherd, back to Texas.
Yes.
Life starts getting good. Well, I'm sure life has been good, but some rocky road there. In between, and so I would assume things start to get a lot better. As time goes on. While you're there, you start picking up podcasting.
Yes, actually, part of my job is well. You mentioned my nickname start with Money Mike, so I have the opportunity to speak to roughly half the enlisted force on money.
Right.
Never have been. In fact, you might chuckle from this. Your dad is actually the one that kind of motivated me, and he wouldn't even know this, but he always talked about money around me.
Yeah.
And I never had any, but it always motivated me to try to understand and learn more about it. So fast forward to what I do today. My nickname was Money Mike, and you can let him know that.
I will.
And I teach, 40, whatever the number is, 48% of the enlisted force, how to set up a budget, how to invest in a thrift savings plan, car buying, anything money related. That's what I do. Yeah. So what an opportunity it is. And I wish I'd have had that when I came through Shepherd as an airman basic. So,
I don't think they had anything like that when I came through.
Oh, no,
and
nothing.
And I don't even know if they still have it today. I mean, obviously you're doing it there, but it definitely would. I think it would have changed a lot of things of how I spent my money or how I didn't spend my money. And I think that's good because they don't teach that in school anymore.
Yeah, they actually do in the Air Force now.
Oh, do they?
In fact, DoD wide, there is a mandatory touch points that all service members have to go through now. Yeah, and one of them is a financial piece, and I just have the opportunity to teach all those that come through Shepherd, as well as the new officers and enlisted that actually get stationed there. There's another program that they have to come through as well.
Okay,
so pretty cool.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's pretty neat to be able to, talk to people who if you look at kind of the, I don't know, the community of the military in general, a lot of people, they don't come from much. They join the military to get away from that to to have a life. So they probably don't have that, the education on that. And
absolutely.
So that's really awesome that you get the opportunity to talk to these people, on how to better invest their money and make it work for them. Because again, here I am in retirement, but looking, when I was younger, I'm like, I'm going to take the money I got now. And looking back, you're like, man, I should have done something different with my money.
Oh yeah, and I hear that every day.
Yeah,
every day. Yeah,
and so. Here I am, a second chance. You don't just retire; you retire and work.
Yeah.
For a second retirement. And then I've also heard that you just don't stop there either. You've worked your whole life; you might as well work until you can't. So, so there's a second chance to get it. But so, what drove you? So, is the podcast separate from what you're teaching in the military?
No, it's really not. It's called the Money Mike Minute is what we call it.
Yeah.
And my effort with that is simply, it's normally a quick 3 to 5 minutes, just some kind of money topic to get primarily young service members. That's our targeted audience. Yeah. Just to think about, hey, maybe I should be paying the credit card off. Maybe I should have this budget. Mm-hmm. How is this going to affect my military career? Just different things like that. Different things that come up pay wise. TSP is my absolute specialty. I really enjoy talking thrift savings plan. Yeah. And it amazes me how a young person can become very financially secure if they start young and just do a small amount. I mean, I did not get started heavily until I was about 31 years old.
Yeah.
I can teach an 18-year-old E3 how to become a multimillionaire to the sum of about $4.5 million by the time they reach age 65 by just investing 10% of E3 pay and never get a pay raise. Yeah. So that's my big thing that I catch them with. And then they're like, oh, this isn't real. Oh yeah, it really is through the compounding effect of investing young starting young and then allowing that money to work your whole life. So that's my big thing my attention getter.
Yeah. I mean, $4 million at 60. Oh, yeah. That's it's pretty big.
As an E3.
Yeah, and not changing just 10%.
Never get a pay raise in 20 years, which ain't possible, because you can't be an E3 for 20 years.
Right.
And that's based on a 10% return, and specifically from the C Fund or the S&P 500.
Gotcha.
And so I have the opportunity to teach. And I love teaching young people how to become financially secure.
Gotcha. Have you thought about growing that outside of the military? Growing the knowledge that you have? Because, people will pay for that.
I know, but
or not even just get paid for it, but just have people come to you, to get investment advice.
Well, I'm not an advisor, though, so I have to be careful. I never advise airmen. I just tell them what I do and why I do it.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
But I enjoy what I do, and to me, I know I could have another, side hustle going on, doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty busy in church.
Mm-hmm.
I could, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, I could see doing that, but I have enough going on with church and then the mission trips and different things like that. So I stay busy enough. I'm comfortable where I'm at.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Makes sense. The the satisfaction from helping other people is payment enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it.
Absolutely.
What's that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah. And speaking of your church and mission trips and stuff, you just recently went to Uganda.
Yes.
And
Second trip
yeah.
to Uganda. So if I could back up a little bit, so I get back to Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
I get remarried in 2019. So it was like 4 years after the divorce, and knew my wife through church. And after our youngest kids graduated, that's when we got married. Was after that. But year before was the first time that a lady had went on this particular mission trip. It had always just been guys up until this point.
Yeah.
And she made a huge impact with some of the ministries that we support over there. One of them is a program that takes in young girls that have been abused, primarily sexually abused. They take them in and they teach them a skill, and of course teach them about Christ, and then they essentially put them back into society as being able to take care of themselves. So with my wife's background and everything, and that would be a whole story on its own that we don't have time to go into tonight.
Yeah.
But she made an immediate connection with those girls over there, and it was just amazing. But that was the first real mission trip that I had ever been on. And when we were talking about going on it, I'm like, I don't want to go there and go on a safari, do a couple hours of work and say it's a mission trip and go sightseeing. So it's no kidding. When the plane touches down, we are busy until we leave. And the name of the ministry is Just Bible Ministries. And what we do is it's very specifically geared towards pastors. What we do is we bring pastors in and we'll teach them a book of the Bible. And then they will get a Bible in their language, which is very rare. A lot of people don't have Bibles over there. Here in America, they're all over the place.
Right.
But it's different over there. True third world country when we're talking about over there. But we'll bring pastors in. We'll teach them a particular book. Give that book along with an actual Bible in their language, and then they will go out to their villages and teach. That's what the primary focus on the ministry is. We do symposiums. So that was the first time that a lady had went with them. That year we had 300 and something adults, and we had a little over 200, 210 or something like that, 200 something kids that did like a vacation Bible school. And that was the first time we'd ever done one of those. And it was big. We were overwhelmed. We had so many kids.
Yeah.
That we were working with. And then this past year, we had 400 adults, 7 different countries from around Africa that came into the symposium. And we had I want to say the official number was 267 kids that would do the vacation Bible school. So what happens, the main guy will be teaching during the day, and we're doing VBS. And then we swap off both last year and or year before, 24 and 25. Heather and I got to teach a specific part of the book that we were going through. This year, I'm going to be going to Kenya. It'll be just me and Mark, the primary guy.
Yeah.
And we'll be teaching through the book of James.
Oh,
so
nice.
We're really looking forward to doing that. It's really exciting.
Is it so with it? I know a lot of those places are very anti-Christian, and a lot of stuff is going down there. Did you guys run into anything like that? Where
we did not. The first year in Uganda was, again, it was a lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
They wanted us back at our where we were staying at every night before dark. One night we were out after dark, and our driver was just kind of freaking out. We never felt threatened or anything, but he's just like, make sure your phones are so nobody can see them, because they'll come by and break the window out on motorcycles and grab them away from you. And
Yeah.
and we're like, okay, we didn't really think anything about it. This past year, my wife went again, and also two other girls from the ministry.
Yeah.
My computer just flashed or something. I don't know what's going on. And so this past year we had guards with us 24/7. So we always had guards where we were staying at, but this past year they hired a local military person that was in the vehicle with us the entire time, because they were concerned having so many people at the symposium, as well as just having us in a vehicle going around Uganda. That was a concern. And it's really weird over there. I mean, you mentioned 95 a while ago, Interstate 95. So if you could imagine that being the main road, as soon as you exit off that, you're on a dirt road.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like over there. Never seen anything like it. There's no lights in the country. I mean, signal lights. So, I mean, it looks like ants driving, just making their. Never seen an accident while we were there. If that would have been Texas, man, it would have been a mess. I'm just here to tell you. But people just merge in. There's honking codes. If you honk once, then I'm turning left. You honk twice, I'm turning right. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely, I mean, you're on a trail barely big enough for the vehicle that you're in. And then there's an 18-wheeler equivalent that you're meeting that you got to pass on this dirt, bumpy, hose, mud. And it just amazed me that this was just normal over there in the part of Uganda that we were in.
It just makes you think about these people that are here today in like America that just talk so much crap about it, but have never stepped foot into another, out of the United States, let alone to a third world country where, there is no running water. The roads aren't paved. It just makes you thankful for where you're at, that God's blessed you to live in a nice place.
Yeah. Well, it was so eye-opening to us the first year. I mean, and what surprises, I think, more than anything is how joyful they are. They have nothing, and they are just as happy as they can be. I mean, it just that just completely shocked us, to say the least. And then when we got back the first year, people were saying, "Hey, how was your trip?" People from church and at work and stuff. And I'm like, humbling. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like we went on a trip and say, "Oh, we've seen this and seen that." It was heart-wrenching. It was just humbling to see how they live, how thankful that they were that we were there, and how helpful and just full of joy. That's the thing that got me, is they had nothing, but yet because of Christ, they were full of joy.
Yeah.
That was very, very evident for us. And the one ministry that I was talking about, the young girls, so in 2023, there was just a foundation for a dorm. There were walls up in 2024, and then this year we got the roof on. Or I'm sorry, last year we got the roof on, and we're hoping to have it so they can move in this calendar year is what the goal is. Right now, there's 20 girls living in it's probably about 14 by 14. Multiple bunk beds is what the setup is. It's just, without seeing it, it's just hard to imagine the way they're living, but they're content, they're happy, but the dorm will hopefully house up to 100 girls. It's only 9, it's 10 rooms.
Dang.
Do the math on that. I'm thinking, these 20 girls are going to all have a room. Oh, no. No, there's going to be multiple bunk beds. They're hoping to be able to take in more girls. They just don't have the room to do it now.
Yeah.
And what really got us last year when we went back, we went and we visit. We have 4 different ministries that we visit there that we support. When we went back to that one, I was thinking, oh, we're going to see all the girls from last year. There's only one girl there that was there the previous year because the program is so good, so efficient. They bring them in, they teach them a trade, they teach them sewing, baking, or hairdressing, and then they started auto mechanics, which just kind of blew me away. They had a neighbor close that was like, hey, if people want to learn how to work on a vehicle, send them to my shop.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. They learn a trade, they learn about Christ, and then they're back in the world, living their life. And it just amazed me that there's only one from the year before, because they're constantly bringing them in, they're teaching them. They teach them a trade, and then they're back in the world, sharing Christ, doing what they've been shown.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Really neat process.
Yeah. So this Kenya trip you got coming up, you pretty excited about it? Is it?
Oh yeah. I'm very, very fired up. So the person that we're going to be teaching with in Kenya, he actually goes around. He's one of our partner pastors, and he actually each month he goes and teaches a symposium. Now he's going into places that we can't go in. He's going into the Congo, into Rwanda, different places that we just simply it would make no sense for us to go there. We'd be we'd be in trouble if we went there. So, but he actually does that. So we're actually going to go and support his same symposium that we normally do. And again, we'll be going through the book of James with him. And he's expecting at least 400, and he said 200 kids. So, and I'll be the only one that will be kind of there for the VBS part.
Yeah.
Now we have local support. Now I say I'm the only one. I'm the only. What do they call us? They call us the whiteys.
The whiteys.
The whiteys. And it's funny because I got really hairy arms.
Yeah.
And they don't have hair on their arms over there, so they're running up and pulling the hair on my arms.
Oh man.
Oh, it's hilarious. And, just it's so touching to know that Christ is using me, and and I'm spreading His light to these people that have very little, and it's very humbling.
Yeah, it's makes me happy to hear that, and I guess humbled a little bit too that they don't have that much, but yet they're still super happy with what they got, and I think that's amazing.
It is. It really is. Now, one thing that shocked us the first year, and I'm still just puzzled. Well, I'm not puzzled now because I understand why, but they all have cell phones. That totally, and the kids don't, but all the adults do.
Yeah.
We're out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, "Why you got a cell phone for?"
Yeah.
But they are government subsidized cell phones, so everybody has a cell phone, just like here in the States.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had cell service, which again shocked me because we are not in downtown, places. We're out in the middle of the sticks, but yet they got cell phone towers out in the sticks. It just
probably got better service than some of the places around here.
Probably. It just amazed me, though. I mean, you think they have nothing, but yet everybody's got a cell phone.
Yeah.
They've been supplied with cell phones. I think they have to buy the data or something, but that just totally shocked us. We were not prepared to see out in the middle of nowhere. This people are on their cell phone just like we are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. And I think the cell phone is, in my opinion, is probably one of the most distracting things that we have ever created in the history of mankind. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're right in that. sense where I think we were talking. I don't know if we were in the middle of the podcast or not, but I mean, it's or if we're in between breaks or whatever. But it is 100%. I mean, you even said you walk to a restaurant and everybody is head down. You're sitting across from your wife or whatever, and you're just scrolling it's very distracting.
It is. It used to be just the young kids, but it's everybody now.
Yeah, it's everybody now.
I mean,
everybody's hooked on those short videos. I mean, there's some funny stuff out there. I mean, you can find some really good stuff, and you can find anything you want now. I mean, just go to YouTube.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
Good or bad.
And so it's I mean, it's definitely a good tool to have. I just think everybody overuses it, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean,
me too. Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I don't trying to tell the kids, like, I mean, I still remember my phone number from high school. I still remember my mom's work number because that's the thing. We had to memorize that. Like now, I don't know her number now because it's in my phone.
Oh, same way. I don't know my wife's number. I just normally hit her name.
Yep. But back in the day, you had to have all that memorized.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And now it's just at the touch of a button. So
yeah.
But perfect. Well, I think we should wrap it up. It's we hit a lot of good topics, and I think there may be some more on the. We could talk offline on some stuff that we've covered. I think we could do another episode on pulling the thread on some of these other things like the podcast and do kind of a money matters type thing.
Hey, we can. I do that all the time. I'll talk money anytime with anybody.
Yeah,
love talking money.
Yeah, absolutely, and just go from there. But before we go though, is there any book recommendations that you have? Christian authors, anything like that?
Well, the one that comes to mind is one that my daily devotional is by a guy named David Paul Tripp, and it's New Morning Mercies, and it's a great devotional. That's the one that I personally use, and it's been great. One of our I'm in a Monday night Bible study. One of our former youth ministers is one that recommended it to me, and I got it. And it's great. I love anything by Charles Stanley, which passed away a couple of years ago. He's out of Atlanta. Dr. David Jeremiah. I mean, there's a bunch out there that that I can. But that New Morning Mercy is a great one. That's one I use currently as my daily devotional.
Gotcha. So, I like it. And then you would say again?
Highly encourage it. It's good.
Okay. Perfect. And then the last thing, I guess, would be barbecue sauce on your brisket, or no?
No. Good brisket don't need barbecue sauce.
Facts. So, but next time I'm in town, we'll have to. Did you ever finish that smoker? I know when we were coming through.
Yes.
Well,
I've got several. I actually purchased another one this year, and it's pretty sweet. It'll do about 32 briskets at one time, and it's sweet. It's a custom. Well, it's not custom made. It's made here in Texas.
Yeah,
and it's kind of neat. All the components are American made. I mean, everything on it, and it's a pellet grill, but you can also add wood into the pellet. So this one's very unique. It's commercial. Yeah, commercial size and commercial quality. So pretty good.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking your time out.
Absolutely.
This evening, it's been great. I learned some things, and you're gonna go holler at my dad tomorrow.
Yeah,
and let him know.
And he'll get a kick out of that.
Yeah, I bet he would. So, but thanks for coming on, and definitely look forward to getting this published pretty soon. I'd say we'll get it published in February, and then we'll maybe give you a call later this weekend.
Yeah, that'd be great. And after my trip to Kenya, would glad to come on and talk more about that. That'd be awesome.
Definitely. We'll dive deep into it. We'll do one for that. And we'll dive real deep into it. So
that'd be great.
But all right, well, thanks, and we'll see you in a little bit.
All right, sounds great.
All right,
Take
talk
care.
to you later. All right, bye.
Bye.